I've heard you speak before about laying the foundation for the grid and pre-paving, and some of the activities that you, if you were standing in our physical shoes, that you had indicated that you would do on a daily basis.
We want to amend that briefly. We are standing in your physical shoes, but continue.
Thank you.
Or shoe, as the case may be.
Sure. One was meditation for 15 minutes. One was going outdoors and regardless of whatever the inclement weather or perfect weather, it's all perfect, I suppose, and kind of basking in that. Another was acknowledging where we are and realizing that we're the focal point of attention of pure positive energy from non-physical into physical, and that I know that there was a fourth one, and it escaped me.
Well, sometimes these are all good ideas,
yeah,
but sometimes you just can't get there from there. So our favorite new process, it may be the best process that we've ever offered you. Nap. Take a nap.
Yeah.
Take a nap. We're not kidding. Because anything that slows that momentum. So meditation is good because if you can quiet your mind, you stop that thought. And if you stop that thought, you stop that momentum. But if the momentum is really moving, it's not the easiest thing in the world to quiet your mind. And it isn't the easiest thing in the world to go to sleep. So drugs and a nap. No, drugs and a nap. A lot of alcohol and a lot of sleeping. You just have to find your perfect place.
Yeah.
But the point is, you want to find something that stops the momentum. And so, if you are aware that you've got some negative momentum going, almost everything that you think you might try is sort of knocked over by that negative momentum. So, you just have to play with it until, really the best thing is after you've slept to choose a disc that feels good. That's really the best way of going about this. And the rest of the time, when you have negative momentum going, just sort of go with it. Don't try to fight it, because fighting it just makes it worse. It's a really interesting thing when you discover yourself in frustration. But then when you get mad at yourself for being frustrated, now you've added momentum to that. When you start beating up on yourself, when you discover that you're in a negative momentum or that you've got negative emotion going on, and then you decide to be hard on yourself about it, that just makes things worse. So choose the high-flying disc first thing in the morning and laugh about it every time you find yourself slipping from it. And be easy on yourself as best you can. When you are in a good feeling emotion, that's when you want to affirm things. That's when you want to get the affirmation cards. That's when you want to call the people that you care about. When you are feeling really good, that's when you want to increase the momentum. That's when you want to make lists of positive aspects. That's when you want to get on rampages of appreciation. And it really is about practicing vibration. So you want to practice it when it feels good and not practice it when it feels bad. You want to continue to speak when you feel good. You want to sort of get silent when you don't feel good. You want to do everything you can to increase the momentum when you feel good and everything you can to slow it down when you feel bad. And so that's why we're saying sometimes just taking a nap. Or even if when you wake up in the morning it's easy for you to choose that disc, then even before you get into a place of negative momentum, take a nap. On your 15-minute break in the morning, close your eyes and try to sleep a little. And when you regain consciousness from that slumber, then pick that high-flying disc. Just keep picking it and picking it and picking it and picking it. And what you will begin to discover is it's easier and easier and easier to pick it. And it's less likely that the other things will begin happening. Until in time, so much of that other will have petered out. You will have laid new pipes on subject after subject. You will lay new pipes in this friendship. You will lay new pipes with this friendship. You will lay new pipes on that subject. You will establish a different vibration on all of those subjects that you have clogged pipes going on until it will just be easy for you. Don't you know people like that who always seem to be steady in their vibration no matter what? They don't seem to dip in terms of the conversation. Esther had an experience the other day. Since the Cancun experience where we first started talking about choosing the disc, she's been doing a very good job of choosing the disc and staying there through much of the day. But as with all of you, there are people and there are experiences and there are subjects where you've got some momentum going. And if you find yourself focused upon one of those subjects where you haven't yet laid new pipes, then you're going to jump on a disc right where you last left it. Have you heard us say that before? Your vibration is where you last left it on every subject. So if you've left it there and now you have laid new pipes about it and laid new pipes about it and laid new pipes about it, in time, the old vibration is completely gone and the new vibration has taken its place. So Esther awakened. She chose her disc. She was flying high. She was moving through her day, made it not quite to lunchtime when a situation was presented to her where she had not yet laid new pipes. And so she picked it up right where it was last left and began a conversation. As she began the conversation, she knew in the early seconds of this conversation the potential of where it was going. And she remembers thinking it was like having a flashback of being at the top of the hill right before the car got loose. It was almost that startling of a sensation. And she knew it was happening and didn't have the strength to keep it from happening. And then it happened. Then it happened. Yeah. Off it went. And she kept trying to turn it around and it just got worse. And she just kept trying to turn it around and it just got worse. She kept trying to turn it around. It just got worse. It just got worse. She didn't recover from it until after a good night's sleep. It wasn't until the next morning that she chose another disc that ripple or that momentum from that conversation. But the good news from it is that having had the experience, she's now more determined to lay the new pipe about it. And in neutral territory, as in coming right out of meditation or right out of slumber, she can choose that disc and think about that subject and lay new pipes about it. You see what we're getting at?
Yeah.
Establish the vibrational frequency. Do you believe that you are vibrational beings?
Yes.
Do you believe that you have the capacity to establish a vibration?
Yes.
Do you believe that it's easier sometimes than others?
Yes.
Do you believe that there are times that it is to no avail to even make the effort? We do. Because all you're doing is throwing gasoline on the fire. Because immediately you start getting defensive. You start trying to explain yourself. There's this human tendency that makes you want to explain why you're here. You want to give all of the details. Esther finds herself doing that quite frequently about things that she's had experience about. She wants to say, well, now here we are, and the bad stuff hasn't happened yet. But let me tell you about other times that I've been standing about right here and other bad stuff happened that we want to watch out for. Okay, everyone? Okay? Okay, so we want to watch out, not even realizing that she's starting negative momentum on something that could have been a clean slate. It could have gone the way she wanted to go. She could have gone directly from where she is to where she wants to be without that long, long, uncomfortable path through all of that justifying and explaining. You all are teachers, aren't you? Do you think we do? This is a leading question. Do you think that a large part of your moving along through unnecessary, potentially momentum building in the direction of something you don't want experience, do you think a lot of it comes from a need to explain your perspective to someone else who doesn't get it? Mm-hmm. You so want to be understood for a lot of reasons. You want them to have the benefit of your experience. Yeah. You want them to have a faster path to what they want. And so a lot of what clogs up your pipes is in trying to explain yourself to someone else who isn't on your disc. When we come back, we'll be talking to all of you about a lot of different things. But the thing that we really want to emphasize is that sometimes you'll be spinning on a high disc and someone will engage you who isn't. And in order for you to communicate clearly, one of two things has to happen. Either they have to join you on your disc or you have to join them on theirs. Well, as teachers and parents and lovers and friends, you will engage, because engaging and being understood matters so much to you. And in this gathering, we would like to convince you that nothing's worth giving up your disc. And that if you will hold true to who you are more, not caring so much about being understood by those who can't understand you, unless you join them on their disc, and then what are they understanding? They're understanding that you're right there with them. Oh yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I feel that way too.
Well, it's an out of the vortex conversation.
It's an out of the vortex conversation.
Yeah.
But it's never going to be again for any of you an out of the vortex conversation that you don't have full conscious awareness that you've moved to a disc and that you didn't need to do it, and that you will launch another rocket. This is next time I will hold more clearly to what I'm wanting. So let's recap this really quickly. So what you're wanting to do is reach for the highest disc you can earliest in the day, maintain it as best you can, and the rest of the day don't worry too much about where you are, because you can't do too much about that momentum anyway. And then the next day choose the highest disc that you can find, maintain it as best you can, and then if you slip onto another disc, don't worry about it too much, because there's not that much you can do about it anyway. And then the next day, reach for the highest disc you find. And before you know it, within 30 days, that high disc will be the dominant vibration within you. And the other discs will have vibrationally petered out. You have laid new pipes on every subject that you've experienced in 30 days, which is all of them. And now you're off and running, creating the reality that you need to create. Good time for a segment of refreshment.